Well, hello there. We is live on a Sunday evening, Vampire the Masquerade. Welcome, everybody. Obviously, you know who I am, you know who these guys are. And this very well could be our finale session tonight. So, as been alluded to by the storyteller, that we've pretty much gotten to the end of this particular story. So as I said, so if you do have the channel points and you want to hand out some willpower and extra black dice, I'm not sure how many dice rolls we'll be having tonight, but this will be more than likely the finale session. What that'll mean is next week, we will not be going straight into P2. What we'll do is next week we'll be having a just chatting session about VTM, so we'll be inviting the storyteller and the players back, and we will hang out for a bit more, answer some questions from you guys in the chat. Players can ask questions of the storyteller and vice versa, and we can have a bit of a discussion about things we may or may not have missed, things about our characters, things you might want to ask about our characters and things like that, which we've done with the other seasons of Vampire the Masquerade as well. We'll do the same for this one, and maybe a story entirety sort of recap. And thoughts on that as well, which then will mean the week after that we'll be returning to Paradigm 2 Shadow's Embrace. So that'll also give obviously the players for P2 a couple of weeks to prepare themselves to get back into the D&D mindset as well. So, and it'll also give me some time to prep and recap that story also.
Who was I again? What was I doing? I can't remember.
I don't know. You're all still at the keep. That much I do know. You and Tolver had just been punished severely.
Affirmative.
So you'll see these three guys as players in that particular session. So without any further ado, we shall turn over to our storyteller for a recap on last week's session.
Further ado. So last week was the continued Wednesday night with our kindred, the night of the attack on the SI. We did continue that night with Zane locked inside his Docklands apartments. He was ordering items to make the place he was staying his new hideaway. Jax was driving around a few blocks to ensure that he and Pip weren't followed by Marco, who he'd just previously shot in the face. They all head then to Elysium, well, sans Zane, of course, only to find that Echo had left with the council. You discover that Nathan is actually working for Marco, and that raises tensions a little higher. But with some talk of Echo, who is partnered with what evidence? Who Echo is partnered with, let's say, and then what evidence Marco has against her, it brings the tensions to ease ever so slightly. Pip turns his phone back on, calls his friend, who says she is safe and on the move. So Pip then heads out of his way to Christ's Church in South Yarra by way of calling a driver from Marco and stealing his car. Marco arrives at Elysium and plays some audio for Jax that puts Echo in the pocket of the Sabbat, causing Jax to dial a number and telling Marco to hit send, saying it will at least solve one of their problems. And with news from Zane to Nathan's office that Pip is at the church, Jax heads out with Marco in tow to try and ensure that Pip doesn't get caught or killed. During this time, Pip's shooting a fiery shotgun, hits a small tree and ignites it, causing some Sabbat to flee and giving himself a fright. But the noise also brings others to the party, causing Pip some minor damage, as well as Zane seeing the fray from camera. Zane tried to help out by overloading Pip's phone, which oddly does help a little. Zane proceeds then to call the authorities and tells them that there are shots fired at this church. Jax enters in an amazing feat, rolling his car into the churchyard, firing many, many rounds from his gun. The special rounds, that is, causing more fire damage, which affect the kindred that are involved, as it is bad for all of them. And Pip's sire, who is trying to talk to him, to their side, I believe, she disappears among the madness, as does our friend Pip, using his hiding skills to get away while Jax is trying to keep the police busy. Lastly, Zane views some careful shapeshifting from Marco on his way to the church, who eventually was turned away by, by what seemed to be an SI agent, though it did look like Marco was able to send some of the police in the opposite direction. There wasn't much left of that night. Our team exiting the church area. So it is now we find ourselves on an overcast Thursday night. A day of rain has been. And this is a new night of questions, and a new night of, hopefully, answers. Everyone who is waking up, which I assume is all of you, will need to make a rouse check, please.
No good to me.
Jax fails his rouse check and grows 1 point hungrier. We'll organise if you fed that night before shortly too.
Yep.
Pip, how is yours?
Good.
Success, you still at 3. Jax, you're at 4 hunger, I believe.
If
It's
I didn't
a
feed the
normal
night before,
dice,
yeah.
isn't it?
Yep. Yeah, so that's just a single hunger dice, Zane.
Blank.
Blank. Blank is a fail, so you get 1 point hungrier as well. So upon rousing the blood, awaking your dead bodies, you grow, well, those of you who do grow a point hungrier. Now, previously you would have had a chance to feed. It would have been an hour or two before the morning. So we can resolve this with, Jax, did you feed?
Yes, he would have done that on his way. He would have done 2 things on his way back to his haven.
What are those 2 things?
Fed, well, 3 things. He would have called Pip, which I've discussed with Pip off camera. So he called Pip just to make sure he was okay and whether he needed somewhere to stay.
And did Pip stay somewhere else or with Jax, Pip?
He stayed somewhere else, I believe.
Yeah, somewhere else.
Awesome. Second thing.
Second thing is, upon not gaining any response from his team after the phone call that Marco sent, he would have gone to that scene himself to investigate why he's had no word.
Yes,
and would have found someone to probably feed along the way.
Okay, going to the scene along the way will get you to roll a dexterity athletics.
4 successes.
4 successes. No problem finding someone. And then give me a dexterity stealth.
My stealth is not bad. 2, 3, 4, 5 successes.
I will say that you quickly found someone to feed on during the hike or drive to that area.
I would have been on foot.
On foot, you successfully get to your feed and to where you're headed. You gain. You can remove 2 points of hunger for that 2 successes.
So it'll leave me at 2 for the new day. Awesome.
When you arrive at the site you're trying to check, there are scorch marks on the ground. There's what you'd expect, black soot and things like that, but the area is void.
No
as
vehicle?
if someone has cleaned the entire space up completely. No vehicle, just some scorch marks.
Not wanting to hang around for long and knowing that there's not much time for sunrise, Jackson would make a text or a phone call to get a ride back to his haven at that point.
Easy enough done. Pip, do you have anything you wish to do before this new evening begins?
So Pip would finally get that Uber I was talking about. Sort of try and tidy himself up a little bit because he's pretty messed up.
No worries.
And get an Uber out to the University of Monash Caulfield campus where the library is.
Good choice. And is this where Pip is deciding to feed?
It is. I imagine by that time the library would be closed, but university students want to linger around.
Yes.
Hopefully he would find one having a sleep.
So you're looking around specifically for someone having a sleep. So you can tell me what you want to use here, but I would go resolve investigation or something similar.
Yeah, sounds like a plan. 1, 2, 3.
3. Easy enough done. As you know, and you've been around this place before, the students here tend to find places to sort of, almost like homeless people, drop on a bench and sleep, especially if they've had a couple of smokes of something they probably shouldn't. But there are still people who've studied for long times that are just dead tired. Finding one's easy enough. Your choice now. You can use stealth with a combo of something else, either something like dexterity or stealth composure or stealth wits.
Stealth wits. Sounds like a plan. Another 3.
Another 3. Easy enough done. 2 successes for 2 sets of checks. I will allow you to lose 2 hunger.
No worries.
You are down to 1. Zane, you had blood bags delivered to your hideaway. You got some yourself, I believe. I remember us talking about it in the last session. I assume Zane would like to at least try and have a feed from 1, if not 2.
Yeah, just 1.
Just you only need 1.
Yeah, I'd also like to do what's that? Heal some wounds.
Heal some wounds. I was coming to that next as well. That's fine. So we'll start with you with that. So you can remove, easily taking a blood bag. You don't have to hunt anything. You don't have to do any more. However, you can only remove 1 anyway. So you're down to 1 hunger, which is as low as you can go unless you drain someone dry. Healing a wound. Are you going to heal I see you've got 3 aggravated and 1 superficial. Which are you trying to heal?
Which is the worst?
The worst is aggravated.
Go for that then.
Okay, so 3 blood dice, please.
Oh, yes.
All successes.
Also critical as well.
Oh, nice. So you are able to heal. You may only heal 1 aggravated per 24 hours. So you're able to heal 1 aggravated. You are now looking healthier than you've looked in quite some time, with 2 aggravated and 1 superficial. In the next, you rouse your blood, and after having that feed, you're feeling really good about yourself, and you feel your wounds stitching together quite well. Your hand that you had chopped off a long time ago is now back at full capacity. It's feeling pretty
Yay!
I can remedy that.
Time. You got to find me first.
Is that all Zane would have done the night before?
Yeah.
And on the new day.
With the new day, he would have kept low profile in the building, waited for the delivery, and start getting things set up and all that.
No problem. The first couriers normally arrive quite early in the morning, so you would have had a delivery delivered to your building quite early in the day. Someone would have probably left it at the nearest doorway for you. So when you arise in the evening, you pick up your deliveries for all your bits and pieces and computer componentry. Was there anything else I was digging up for you?
Don't believe so.
Cool. I didn't have any notes for it, so that's good. You did ask me for some information on the council and Justicars.
Yeah. Just wanted to get background information of what I can.
Okay.
Just compiling a database on them.
Cool. I'll give you a bit of that now if you like. We'll resolve a few of these things, and when you guys are doing some chit chatter, I will send it through to you. All right. And Jax, were you going to be trying to get rid of some damage as well?
Yes. Yes, I would. I believe I have. What have I got here? 2 aggravated, 2 superficial.
Yeah, I have you listed at 2 aggravated and 3 superficial.
3 superficial. Yep, that makes sense. I can heal 1 superficial naturally as a new day, yes?
Yeah, so you still have to roll for it, but it only costs you 1 dice.
Okay.
And yeah, you can only heal
Success,
1 aggravated per day. There you go. So 1 superficial is healed. And then it takes you 3 rouse checks to try and do an aggravated.
I will try and get this 1 aggravated. 2 successes on that, so 1 failure.
1 failure. Okay, so you get 1 point hungrier, but you are able to heal one of those aggravated, which now leaves you with 1 aggravated, 2 superficial.
Indeed.
Looking better as your wounds knit together, some of the scarring that would normally remain on a human body is dissipating. As each day passes, you guys feel just a little bit better each time you rouse the blood.
That puts me at 3 hunger.
3 hunger, yep. It's down 2, up 1. 1 step forward, 1 step back. Pip, are you doing the same?
Yeah, Pip will, but for context, he does not leave the campus. He will make his way into the library.
Excellent.
He'll use unseen passage. On the way down, he'll grab a stack of bookmarks from one of the desks, and he goes down to the basement where they have an archive room where they keep books that can't be exposed to natural lights and stuff.
Okay.
Oh
yes,
and
the
he's going to
secret zone.
crawl in there and jam the bookmarks under the door, and that's where he's going to stay
Okay.
for the evening, knowing he can't go home.
That's a very quiet and safe place to sleep as far as Pip is concerned. Pip, are you going for a aggravated or a superficial or one of each?
One of each.
One of each?
I've got enough of...
That's fair. So give me superficial first at just 1 single blood die.
Yep, so that's a success on that one.
Success. You heal by rousing the blood 1 superficial damage. Now 3 die for a aggravated.
Yep. Oof. That's 2 successes and like the skull, which I don't think means anything in this situation. But
the skull counts as a failure, so 2 successes and 1 failure. So you just get 1 point hungrier, which puts you back to 2 hunger, I believe.
Yep.
But you heal that point of aggravated damage. Zane, now you've got rid of 1 superficial. You can try another superficial if you like. No, you're happy. You don't want to try an aggravated?
No, I'm going to push my luck. Hell no.
So with that, we will move to... so you're all in your individual spaces as the night begins. Are you going to meet somewhere? What is the plan?
I think Jackson would probably, at this point, knowing he can't contact Zane by phone, I'm assuming Zane didn't respond to the email that was originally sent either. So at this point, Jackson's probably just figured Zane will turn up at some point. He obviously doesn't want to be found. If he doesn't want to be protected, then basically fuck him. Like that's the whole attitude that Jackson's taking at this point.
Okay.
But he will reach out to Pip, probably via text, just
Cool.
making sure, again, not anything in particular, just to straight up, Pip, are you good? You're still there? Are you okay? Question mark.
Pip will text you back eventually. It'll say, I've come to the place where I died. Might stay here. I don't know what other purpose I have. Full stop.
Jackson getting that back, he would... I mean, does Jackson know where Pip died? Is that... I don't think you've ever given that information out specifically,
no,
have you?
Definitely not.
No.
Yeah, I don't think so.
So Jackson would just simply send back, few things I need to sort out. Stay safe. I'll contact you soon. And it'd be ... at the end.
Yeah, and he'll write back okay, fully spelt out.
Of course. So with that, then I think Jackson would make a landline phone call. He won't use his cell phone for this. To Elysium. To Nathan, directly to Nathan's office.
I just remembered something.
Go for it.
I don't have my phone, it blew up.
Oh, true, you do. Okay, so
Oh, yeah.
there would be no contact. Ah,
None
true.
of that happened.
So none of the night before would have happened either. Shit,
Ah,
of course. Okay, so scratch all of that. Jackson's worried about Pip. He has no idea where he is.
I'm glad you remembered. I totally forgot that.
I
so
forgot
good
too,
call.
dude. Definitely. In that case, then Jackson would make one phone call before ringing Elysium, and that would be to Francis. And the actually probably not even phone call, just a text.
Yep.
Find Pip. Inform me of his whereabouts. Do not approach him. Just find out where he is and if he's okay, and let me know ASAP.
Okay, so Francis is one of your top trackers. He has much the same skills as our friend Van Diemen. He acknowledges your text with a yes, Jax, will do. And that is all you get at this point.
No problem. Then it'd be landline phone call to Elysium.
All right.
Directly to Nathan's desk phone.
Nathan picks up the phone from his desk. It's an old style rotation ringer, as you saw when you were in there last. And he picks up and says, hello, you're speaking with Nathan.
Nathan Jackson.
Ah, and how did things go last night?
About as poorly as expected.
Yes, it is on the news, unfortunately.
Couldn't help that.
I don't know if the council will see it that way, but I guess we shall see.
Right now, I don't really give a fuck what the council thinks. Is Marco around?
He is not.
Explain to me exactly how Marco intends to place himself as prince, considering Mary Wade knows of his treachery, as does many of the other council members, I'm assuming.
Mary knows, does she? Oh dear, that's a problem. She is here.
No shit.
I was unaware of her knowledge. And it's right about that time, Jax, you hear a massive clunk and the phone hits the ground. In the background, you hear, take him, remove him from this space. The phone is picked up and she says, who is this?
Justica Wade.
You are correct. Who is this?
This is Sheriff Jackson.
Sheriff Jackson, you are stripped of your title. You are no longer sheriff, for there is no longer a prince named Echo here.
I'm not aware that you have the authority to do that. Not at this point, anyway.
Don't tell me or assume to think you know anything. I have been around longer than any of you, my child. And as head of the council, we decide, and we have made our decision as of last night.
So be it.
Do you know where Echo and Marco are?
Your guess is as good as mine on that one, I'm afraid. Echo may or may not have fled the city. Marco could be anybody.
She has not fled the city. I have it covered. Marco, however, is a pain. I shall deal with you all later. And the phone goes dead.
Well, fuck. At that, Jackson's probably going to pace around his haven for probably the next hour at least. Sort of trying to figure out what the hell he's going to do next.
Zane, you get a text on your phone. It's Echo. It's her, whatever you would have come up, her caller ID or what have you. Text says, there is danger. Call me. Jax, you received the same text, but we'll stick with Zane for now.
Not replying, not trusting nobody.
That is fair. Pip, you don't get any texts. You're in the library under the table or under the safe area. And whereabouts are you headed? Excuse me. Whereabouts are you headed to now, Pip? As it's a new dawn or a new evening.
Pip doesn't really know what to do with himself, but he is going to, once the library is populated in the evening, head out and just sort of sit on the floor of the library in the occult section and just sort of sit there. And he's got a pen, and he's still got the bookmarks, and he's written Echo, Marco, Louisa on the top of these bookmarks. He's sort of just spreading them out as he's writing the names of people down, or kindred down in this case, and he just sort of spread them out and sort of stares at them, and doesn't even pay attention to people sort of walking by or anyone who might stop to talk to him. He's just really focused.
While he's focused, then give me a resolve. Resolve awareness, please.
Resolve. 4.
You hear a slight whispering coming from a few meters behind you. Pip. Pip. You should join with us. And that's all you hear at this stage. How does Pip react?
I think at first he'd like do that thing where you hope that something's not there, so you close your eyes really tight as if that's going to get rid of it.
Yeah.
And sort of push himself up against the back of one of the bookshelves and decide whether he's going to turn around and see if there's anyone there, which he will eventually if it doesn't go away.
The whisper comes again and goes, Pip. There is danger out there. You need to join with us. And you recognize the voice as Louisa.
Why would I do that?
Because I have a similar power to what you have, and you know what I speak of. I have felt your mind. I have seen us running. I have seen us, the hunted. We can only succeed together. Come with me. Back to the church. We can let the past stay the past.
What makes you think I want to succeed at anything?
That's a fair answer. I think you're a very successful person, and in general, if you want to keep on keeping on, safety is within the confines of at least the church and our people for now. Echo is one of us, you know that. She's always cared for you. I must go, but this is your last chance. If you meet us at the church, you will be safe.
Miss Monroe, okay?
She is a little worse for wear. But she is still amongst the undead.
Okay. You can go now.
That I will. Just remember you're welcome there tonight. But if you do not pursue us, what happens to you is out of my hands. And you just hear a faint. What is Pip doing?
I think he's just going to collect up the bookmarks and sort of sits with the thought of it for a bit and realizing he can't contact anyone. And he sort of takes a bit of time before leaving the library and trying to find his way back to Jax's place as much as he can remember it, which is probably not very clear.
Give me a memory check. Give me an intelligence awareness.
Intelligence awareness. Oh wait, I've been rolling one extra hunger dice. Oh well.
Don't do that.
No. 5.
Nice. You, as you're cleaning up your bookmarks and you're about to head out, you're thinking about where he lives and where you've been before, and it's hard because Jax goes places in such a manner that he does not want to be found. But you have pretty good recall, recalling all the years of reading, recalling all those Dewey numbers, and you have a really good recall for where he's been with you. Even if you had your eyes closed, you could count corners, length of distance. You do remember. How long did you spend in the library upon waking, Pip?
Probably maybe an hour and a half, maybe 2.
Okay, so 2 take you another, if you're Ubering, another half an hour at best to hit Jax's place. If you're walking, probably another hour. Uber or walk?
Uber.
Okay, so roughly 2 hours in the library. Good to know. Jax, like I said, you received the same text.
Jax would probably sit at his desk and just stare at the phone and think, son of a bitch, he made it out. Wonder if she knows it's me. Then he'd sort of look up and look around to his desks in the library, which Pip had reorganised, and be looking at all the organised books. Sort of wondering, okay, I hope you're safe, Pip. This shit's not going well for everyone here right now. He's going to make a phone call to Marco's phone.
All right. Marco picks up. He sounds muffled, sounds flustered when he talks to you. Jax, what is it?
By the sounds of that, you already know what it is.
We are in not a good place.
You are not in a good place, my friend.
That is true. Mary Wade does not like me.
No shit. Nathan's been taken. So I would assume that all of your other co-conspirators within Elysium have been discovered.
It's hard to say. I haven't heard from anyone, but I'm trying to lay low. Listen, you can't put this all on me. That news footage that's released today has your face on it.
As I said, a minor inconvenience doesn't worry me too much. I can disappear if I need to. As can you, it seems.
Yes, we have to, but Mary is a powerful Tremere. We need to lay low.
There is no we, Marco. This was all your doing. This was all for you, for your revenge against Leslie. It was all about power. Nothing unusual about that, really.
Jax, you need to wake up. This whole kindred life is about politics and power. If
No
you're not
shit.
if you're not vying for it, you're put under the boot. So, spare me the I'm better than you, you're better than me business. If you
I
want
never
help,
said I was
sweet,
better than you. She was on the other foot, it seems. You've also always thought yourself better than us, obviously. Now, it seems that you will be ostracized with the rest of us.
I'll be taking Mary down. I did it
Good
once,
luck with
I
that.
can do it again.
I would imagine that very soon there'll be a blood hunt out for you, and probably for all of us. You won't be hearing from me again.
Well, I was trying to aid you, but that is fine. I've done well on my own.
I have my ways. I'm pretty sure I can make my way by myself. Not like it's the first. And I won't even wait for him to say anything else. I'll just hang up.
Hang up, sweet.
I will then make a phone call to Joe.
Yep.
And basically be, Joe, shit has hit the fan. Release everyone from their contracts. Tell them to go to ground, do whatever they need to do to survive. I don't care what. But we're leaving.
Joe replies, it's a bit more of a solemn text as opposed to it's, will do, sir. It's more of a thank you very much for everything, sir. Make sure everyone is safe. He will make sure everyone is safe.
Yeah, it's a phone call, not a text.
Oh, sorry, you called him. My bad. So that's his answer. And like I say, he sounds solemn.
It'd be like Jackson probably laugh a little bit and go, no more of that sir crap. You're my best friend.
Sorry, it's habit, Jax.
I know.
Just with the other men.
But let them know to do what they need to do to survive this.
I can secure some of the other places out of Melbourne if you wish, and let you know what's safe and what's not.
We need to get out of Melbourne tonight. We need to secure a private plane. I'm going to liquidate a lot of the assets here tonight. Organize a private plane. Give me the location. Airstrip off the grid if we can do it. Be heading for, let's just say, safer waters at this point. I don't want to give too much way over the cell phone.
No, that's right. Just a question. Who was this one you were ringing?
Joe.
Big Joe. So Big Joe. That's right. Francis is doing the other work.
Yep.
Joe, secure plane. Got so many names written down in front of me, because of all your stuff. So he sort of breathes heavily, well, as much as he can on the other end of the phone, and sort of goes, all right, I'll let you know when things are set. Are we bringing anyone else on the plane?
I'm not sure at this stage, but make sure we've got one big enough for maybe 3 or 4 at most.
3 or 4 extras, no worries. All right, I shall catch you later, Jax.
And without saying anything else, he hangs up. I hang up.
And while you were talking to him there, another text message comes through from Francis. Eyes on Pip is all he says in the text.
I won't bring him. I will text back location.
He he replies, in vehicle, looks to be headed towards you.
With that, I will bring up the external cameras on my haven entrances with basically turning my desk around. It'll be like a shutter on the wall will open with a remote to bring up all the security cameras. And I will send a text back to Francis directly. Time to run. Thank you for everything you have done. Say hello to Van Diemen for me.
Okay.
And I'll watch the cameras waiting for any kind of visual on Pip at any of the 4 entrances there are to my haven.
Sweet. So that message went out to who in particular? Just
that particular message was just to Francis.
Francis,
yeah.
And none of your other guards. Okay, no. Just the Francis.
Yeah.
Okay.
Joe will take care of the others.
Sweet. While watching your cameras, Francis simply texts back, be safe.
And with that, Jackson will crush the cell phone.
Nice. And it's after crushing the cell phone, your cameras pick up multiple vehicles moving around the area, but one particular vehicle. Pip, are you exiting to head to Jax's place?
Pip would sit outside in the car and sort of look around for any sign that Jackson's in the place, because he wouldn't be 100% sure that.
You wouldn't see anything from the ground. The entrances are like garages. The whole haven's underground.
Yeah, he'd almost wait for you to come out and see him, worrying that maybe it's been compromised in a way that you assured him it couldn't be.
So your camera views, and you've got fully fledged view cameras with audio and all that, you can zoom and zoom out. So a parked vehicle sits there for a while, catches your attention. How much does it catch your attention? Gives me a wits awareness, please.
Wits awareness. Cool.
Now, if anyone's giving you guys extra dice, might as well use them.
Don't think I have any extra dice left, but
that's all good.
3 successes on that.
3 successes. Yeah. After a while, playing with the camera zooms, you spot that vehicle that's been there just a bit too long, and you're able to get a minor reflection off the window of what looks to be a Pip sitting in the car waiting.
With that, I would... don't know that Pip would understand. I'm going to send a Morse code message via the external security light. Basically, Pip, it is safe. Move to the red door to your right.
Now, Pip, with all your reading experience, would you think Pip would know, and you might even have it in your character sheet, would Pip know some sort of area at all of Morse code, do you think?
He might know a little bit, yeah.
Let's check that out then.
Long shot. Let's give it a go.
Give me an intelligence. What would it be? Your choice. Intelligence, awareness, intelligence investigation, or anything you could think that might fit that even better.
Maybe insight?
And you got an extra black die again.
And an extra black die. Yeah, intelligence, insight. I like that.
That's a lot of dice, so.
And you get an extra one if you want it.
I might as well use it now. Who knows if I'll roll again?
Never hurts to use them all. Gotta use them all.
Holy sh! So it's a lot. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Yeah, you've read a lot of books. You've read a lot of books on fiction and non-fiction that utilize Morse code and talk about it. Definitely some history books over the world wars where Morse code was used. You don't remember everything, but you've remembered enough to pick up on this message that's coming over the light.
Yeah, so exit the car and do what the message said.
Excellent.
And he'll audibly hear the door unlock as he approaches it. And it probably automatically swing open as well.
Yes, automatic unlocking and opening.
Yeah, Jackson keeps his haven almost airtight, which is why it's underground. Stops pesky humans from getting in here and causing problems.
Yep. Pip, the door automatically welcomes you in.
Sort of walk in slowly.
The door will close behind him with an audible sort of clunk and hiss.
Probably jump a little.
And you'll hear me over the loudspeaker, like an intercom type system. Follow the corridor, Pip. You're safe here. See you soon.
Safe, he says.
Zane, during this couple of hours, what has Zane been doing? He's set up his gear, I imagine, within the first half an hour to an hour.
So while also using the 3 data centers that he has access to compile data on the current.
Just the cars and
Yep.
Canberra. I've sent you that
he-
info in Gilded, by the way.
Pardon? Okay, cool.
Yeah, sent it in Gilded for you.
Yep. He will be looking at securing his area more securely, like bug-resistant secure.
Okay.
And not only that, he'll also be wiping any evidence of himself wherever he can find it.
Okay. So give me a couple of rolls here. Resolve technology for the first one.
Resolve tech.
And this is to wipe
4.
you. Yes, I was going to say, looking for 3. This is to wipe you from the systems. It's your job. You know how to wipe yourself as best you can. It sounds like a toilet joke. Nonetheless, you know how to get yourself clear from all the computer systems. And your next role is to keep the bugs out. Give me an intelligence survival, a big crossover here, mental and physical. Because you're going to be setting up things to keep the bugs out, trying to keep it as airtight in here as possible. With a
1.
1. So as far as you're concerned, you've got this place as airtight as possible for you. I thought with intelligence you might even have more than that.
Well, so did I, but yeah, it's only given me 1.
Unfortunately for you, you have no idea whether what you've done will be enough or not.
I know.
But you feel pretty safe as far as Zane's concerned. He's done enough. Yeah, so that stuff in Gilded, feel free to read over and utilize as you wish.
Cool.
That's everything I have on them, unless they were going to be characters that we utilize more and more. There's not much else to give. If you need anything specific, just ask. Is there anything else Zane wishes to do? No. Zane, quiet this game. And a secondary text comes through your phone from Echo.
Zane's currently petrified.
That's fair. A secondary text comes through from the Echo's number. We'll hear caller ID and says, "Please, Zane, you need to call me. It's urgent."
Still not responding. As I said, I don't know who to trust anymore, so...
That's fine. Just a secondary. Jax, as Pip enters the room, you receive a similar text from Echo's caller ID saying, "Oh no, you crushed your phone.
My phone's been
You crushed your phone. Ignore that. You received nothing." Pip, you enter the room where Jax is, coming down the hall as he's automatically opened a series of doors.
Yeah, it would have taken him a little while to get there. A series of doors and corridors. Along the way, with his kindred hearing, he would have heard audible clicks and bits and pieces along the way that would have been probably a little out of place, but he would have heard those once before, even if this is a different corridor he's come in, knowing that Jackson specializes in booby traps and such.
Yeah, he gets to a corridor that lights up, and then he has to jump laser grids and stuff like in Resident Evil, right?
100%. Parkour! But eventually, like, Jackson will actually probably go out and meet him and bring him back into the main haven and back to back into the library.
I'll turn it over to you two.
You good, Pip?
It's been a long time since I've been good, but I'm in one whole piece.
Interesting turn of events last night, one would say.
Yeah, it didn't quite work the way I was hoping.
Don't think it turned out the way any of us were hoping, Pip.
I've been invited to the church.
Dare say I have too. I received a message from Echo.
I wonder if they know I'm a lapsed Catholic. Or they care.
Well, that choice is up to you, Pip.
Huh.
Mary Wade, you remember Justicar Wade, who we've been looking for some time.
Yeah.
She knows
Mary.
what Marco was up to, and I dare say after last night, I would hazard a guess that we're not the favourite people of the Ivory Tower right now. Some of us less so than others. So I don't think you're in any trouble somehow. I don't get the feeling that... Well, I suppose trouble's a relative term. What I mean to say is it's not your face plastered across the 6 o'clock news.
Yeah, that was quite a show.
I told you I'd look after you. As much as I could. But now, unfortunately, I'm in a position where I have to leave. Otherwise, I'll meet the same fate as Leslie, I fear.
Do you have a phone I could have?
I've got a couple of burnt... Yeah, he sort of looks around, goes to his desk and opens a drawer, and he's like half a dozen burner phones in the top drawer.
Mine exploded into my side. Mr. Riviera.
Yes, of course. Take them all if you wish, Pip. So that was the other thing. I'm actually kind of pleased you came here. If you decide to stay, which I guess I'm asking, if you don't want to stay, you can come with me. I intend to leave the country. Somewhere safer for me, I think. But if you decide to stay, and he sort of just puts up his hands, indicating to that this is yours if you want it. I can give you the rundown on how it works, but I think you'll be safe here. I've kept it fairly well off the grid. It's a shame for the library to go to waste.
I think I have to stay, and you should go. Some things I need to do.
Sure, Pip.
Not really.
Because I guess as much as I've been around this life for a long time, I kind of grown attached to you, which doesn't happen often in this world. But I like you, Pip. I really do. And I think that as much as we're not people anymore in that sense, you're a good person, Pip.
They won't just let you leave, you know.
Yeah, I know. But I'm pretty good at hiding. Not as good as you.
Think maybe you've pissed off just about everyone now.
More or less. I mean, I could... there is a place I could do. I could probably go and stay in the city, but I'd have the Camarilla and the Sabbat hunting me no matter what. So, safety in numbers for me is going where I know there are people there that would help protect me.
Could always run with the bikers.
Yeah, Aaron was lucky he got out when he did. He's definitely got the best side of this whole situation. I don't know about Zane. I mean, Zane will do what Zane does. He'll look out for himself. He'll disappear. I don't know if they're looking for him. I'm pretty sure they're not looking for you. But you do what you need to survive in this world, Pip. You'll learn quickly that do whatever it takes.
And he pulls out the shotgun you gave him and sort of like puts it down. He's like, maybe something smaller?
Yeah, that didn't really work in your favor, did it?
It's got a kick.
Just a little. Maybe even stay away from guns, Pip. Maybe find another way. I'm sure with your particular skills, you'll learn in time other ways to protect yourself. That are probably less overt, less likely to hurt yourself in the process.
I shouldn't keep you here. You should go now.
I'm getting ready to go, but as I said, if you want it, this place is yours. There's not just the library here. There's much more here that you haven't seen.
Hopefully I'll need it.
But keep it in mind. I'll give you the access that you need. And if you do need it, you know where it is. A place to hide away from those that are potentially looking for you, maybe. Even just a place to sit and read. You have your own library, Pip.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna do what needs to be done.
With that, Jackson will walk up to Pip and hold out a hand. Shake.
Pip would shake back. It'd be that sort of handshake you get from someone who doesn't really do handshakes. You're like, where's the grip? It's like, no, dead fish.
I don't know that Jackson would care too much. It'd be like, I mean, Jackson's grip would be obviously really firm anyway, but it would soften a little bit as he sort of realizes maybe he's probably squeezing a little too hard. And then he'll just walk past and give you a sort of tap on the shoulder as he walks past, heading out of the room to collect some belongings before he makes an exit. Oh, no. Pip, by the way, in the desk is all the information you'll need, and it comes with like the cars too. So have some fun with that. Knowing that Pip's not a great driver.
And he'll just sort of, as you turn, he'll say, check your pocket. And if you turn back, he won't be there. It'll be unseen passage.
Oh, of course, that's right. You slipped that paper. Yeah, so he'd be wearing the same jacket he wore the night before, and he'll put his hand in his pocket as he's walking down the corridor.
Ah, nice.
I forgot about that.
So did
nice
I.
One.
So you pull it out of your pocket as you walk away?
I do.
Pip, remind us, what does this piece of paper say?
So, and I think the reason he told you to read it is because it stands then and it stands now. It says, I have something to do. Take this as no slight against you, Mr. Spencer. I thank you for your guidance and protection, and I know I owe you more than I could ever think to repay. At this point, I might be a liability to you, and if we meet again, know that I did this as my way of helping you be safe. It's a dangerous business, Mr. Spencer. Going out your door, you step onto the road, and if you don't keep your feet, there's no knowing where you might be swept off to. Pip.
Jackson would sort of give a half-pie grin and would probably fold it up and put it back into his pocket. and he would go off to there's a separate room area where a personal quarters. He'd collect nothing too much, just a basic, maybe a jacket or two, another couple of jackets, some bits and pieces. He will still carry his 2 firearms, although now he's probably at just standard hollow point 45 rounds. Okay. 3 or 4 extra mags.
The room that you left Pip in is the one with all the cameras, yada yada, right?
Yes, so he'll be able to see certain most areas within the haven. There'll be some that aren't monitored, but for the most part, pretty much I'd say probably 95% of the haven is monitored from that area.
Okay, and as far as your space, do you have any visual on cameras, or do you have an intercom base in there?
Yes, it would be.
Because the intercom goes off as you're rummaging through your room. Someone has approached the shed-like doors at the front that lead down underground. And the intercom, however it goes off, is it a buzz or a digital tone?
It'd be just a buzz, just like the standard buzz.
So there's just a standard buzz. And Pip, if you do notice this, seems to be no one in the cameras at the front door, but the buzz goes again. Bzz.
Jackson would go to the intercom in his room, which would give him a visual of that area as well. The panel on the wall.
You get a visual of the same gate that you allowed Pip to come through. There doesn't seem to be anyone there, but the intercom buzzes one more time. Bzz.
Jackson would firstly
Is anyone there?
Jackson would firstly over the intercom say to Pip, do you see anyone on the camera, Pip, at the gate that you came in? At the door?
Pip won't say anything because he did the sense the unseen thing. So, but he will check the camera.
Checking the camera, you see nothing still.
And then he'll push sense the unseen. He doesn't know whether that'd work through the camera, but he's gonna do it anyway.
Give me a resolve awareness, Pip.
Is the voice familiar?
Doesn't seem familiar to you, Jax, but give me a wits awareness just to be sure.
2.
Unfortunately, you can't see anything, Pip. No matter how you force.
2 for me as well.
2 for you as well. The voice is definitely not something you've heard before, and it comes again. Bzzzt. Hello. I have a message from Joe.
Wouldn't answer. If it is from Joe, they'd know that to give it anyway. If they are if they're someone familiar.
You are correct, because right as he waits sort of 10 seconds and he says, all right, I don't know if there's anyone in there, but Joe says airports are secured by the CAM and their ghouls. No kindred are getting out or in. They are taking us. Anyone who enters the airports. We tried 3. They are protected. They are not able to be reached. That's all the message. And then it goes quiet.
With that, Jackson's going to use the landline in his room and make a long distance phone call.
All right.
To one Balthazar, Chicago.
All right. Now, I'm not real good with the timelines here between countries, but I believe
he'd still make the call anyway. It'd be daytime, yeah.
Yeah.
But he'd still make the call through his personal phone.
Okay. You know, as well as anyone else, being who you are, you'll get his daytime ghoul.
Mm-hmm.
And he answers the phone. Yes.
I know he's asleep. This is Jackson from Melbourne, Australia.
I know who you are.
When he wakes, inform him that I need immediate relocation.
It will be done. I have taken that note. Relocation from Melbourne, you say?
Yes. Things have gone slightly sideways here of recent days. I'm not sure how much of that has reached the US. I would assume probably not much of it. But
We have heard news from the Camarilla only just now. But of course, as you are saying, it's daytime here. We have given no news to our leaders as yet.
make sure Balthazar's the first to know of my predicament.
He will be, Mr. Spencer.
And he'll know where to find me when the time comes. And I'll hang up.
No worries.
So with that, Jackson will leave the Haven with Pip in it. He won't go back to the library where Pip is.
No
He
problem.
will exit through one of the alternate exits. Probably on foot. He won't take a vehicle.
Okay.
And will grab either a taxi or an Uber and start moving to another location he believes is relatively safe.
All right. And with that, we'll take our 5-minute break for cups of tea and whatnot.
No problem. We'll be right back, everybody. Don't go anywhere.
Back in the can.
Back in the can. And we're back. What's up, everybody? We will now rejoin our story. Welcome in, everybody. We got everyone. Yep, I think everyone's back. We're good. Here we go. So I'll turn it back over to the storyteller as we continue our chronicle.
Sweet. So as we leave Pip in Jackson's haven, Jackson leaving his haven, we move to Zane. Zane, what are you up to in this past hour?
So with the preparations completed, almost completed at this place, I will make purchase of another place, more than likely 2 city blocks or another suburb, maybe.
A couple of city blocks or suburb, no worries. Now with funds on your end of it, with them getting low, you'd have to do a bit of shuffling, which you were good at bank funds shuffling, I believe. Especially when the money's not your own, you can move it around quite fluently. So give me that intelligence technology roll just to ensure you get the funds you're after. Three successes is all you need.
Let's hope I get that.
Not saying you're low on funds. I'm saying you'd rather use other people's.
I'm definitely using other people's with a 6.
Mm. Yeah, no problem for you to find a place a few blocks away. No problem to get the equipment and send it there. Is that what you're doing? Trying to set up a similar haven?
Yes. So
yeah.
that'll probably be a one day night thing.
Okay.
Get all the equipment sent there that I've ordered and all that.
And as you know, you can get things overnight here in Melbourne, depending on what it is. There is a shortage on some computer products at the moment, but
I can still do the black market, so that should be streetwise.
Exactly right. Let's do that. Let's go streetwise and charisma for this one, or composure, your choice.
We'll go charisma.
All right. You have contacts. The roll, you only need 2.
Yeah, I'm not going to get that. It's going to take longer than expected. I got a 1.
Oh, unfortunate. So there is a shortage on some of the parts you need. Most of it's set upable, but through the black market, you can gain those parts. It's just going to take an extra day. So not really a hassle for you. You know you need a bit of time to set up.
With that, I'll rat some of the other stuff that I've already set up and get it over, because with what I've got planned, I'm not really going to need that much.
Okay.
So I will set up a routable Wi-Fi with video links to all areas.
All areas of this building?
All areas of that building. Also, I will send through a text to one of the Justicars with the information that I got. I dare say I would have gotten a phone number or something like that.
Yeah. So personally for you, the Justicar of the Malkavian would be at your core. You would have numbers for them, multiple probably. So your Justicar is Callan John.
Yeah, I'll send him a video link that he can access, and the video will be of me sitting at my computer.
Okay. Do you give him any information to go with this link, or do you just send him the link?
I haven't sent it, but that's what I will be doing.
Oh, okay, that's what you will be doing. Okay, understood.
It'll be a just a video of me doing that, where I won't be there.
Yes. So you're sending him footage of you being in a place that you're not actually in, not like a looped footage.
Yes, looped video footage. Yes.
Excellent. Good to know. No need to roll anymore for technology. We know that's that's your high rolls all the time. It'd be different if you're trying to do something a bit more out the gate. This is your job, your work, and therefore, with the roll you made before, we'll have that covered. How many days are you going to leave it till you move to the secondary place?
As soon as I get that secondary place set up, I'll move there. So it'll be 1 to 2 days.
1 to 2 days. Okay, no problem. Do you, with the information sent from about the council, or you gathered about the council and the Justicars, do you have anything else you wish to do, or is that it for Zane for the time being?
No, that's it for me for the time being.
Good to know. We'll move back to Pip. We'll start with you this time. Pip, are you happy in the little haven you're in at this current point in time?
Yeah, Pip's pretty happy. He's going to go through that material that Jack said for him to look at about the haven and stuff, the information he needs. Sort of look through that.
So it will give him all the information he needs about accessing the haven to and from. Obviously, all the 4 different exits, the tunnels, the placement of any devices, and ways and means to disarm them on entry and exit.
Oh, okay, cool.
All that.
That's
essentially all the information about the haven that he needs to survive there. He'll also notice, I would have set it up on a laptop for him. So he'll also notice there is a sticky note on the desktop of the laptop, which will have a bank account number set up in Pip's name.
okay.
If he accesses that bank account, he will find a substantial amount of money there to look after him.
Question: did you leave any of the stuff about Marco or any of that in the haven?
Yes, all the hard copy. Actually, no, all that hard copy information went to the council, I believe. Went to the Bruja Council, but there is a copy of the video on a flash drive in his desk. It'll be in the safe under his desk. Whether Pip finds that, there will be a bunch of information in that safe. There'll be the information about Echo that he's gathered in that safe.
Ah, yes. So you do get a lot of information there, Pip.
Yeah, so Pip will sort of like write out a fair bit of stuff in his notebook about all the details, sort of wanting to have his own record of it. And then he will go into the library and file it in the 131s, which is occult methods, and he'll write SPE on the side to denote that the author is Jackson Spencer. He will go back to where he dropped put the shotgun, and he'll pick it up, and he will say, "It's his time to fuck shit up," and he will exit the haven and head to South Yarra.
Excellent. I like where this is going. On your way to South Yarra, can you roll me a composure? I'll give you the other detail in a minute once I open the sheet. Composure or specs, please. Composure and, sorry, you'll add all specs to it. Composure and awareness, and then add your all specs to it, please.
Okay. Ooh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Nice. You're probably not quite out the door as you're heading to the door of this haven when you get a forced premonition. Now, you can actually stop this. You've basically, the dice you've rolled have allowed you to accept it if you do so wish. If you do not want it to be pushed onto you, you can fight it using your intelligence, awareness, and also using your resolve again. Not so resolve, sorry, all speaks.
Yeah, knowledge is power. So Pip he sort of pushes it against it at first, and then realizes that even if he doesn't want to know, perhaps knowing will aid what he's about to do.
Okay. as you push against the feeling of something probing into your mind, thinking that knowledge is power, you let it go, and you're glad you did, because you just get like a hazy view of a face. And that face is Sylvia Plath. And she says, Pip, I'm so sorry I had to push like waves into your mind. It is not something I normally do uninvited, but I have heard such bad things, and I wish you to know that if you need somewhere to be safe, to get out of the way for a time, then my offer of teaching you still stands, and you may come and spend time with me like a salted grey rock sits in the sand.
And he's sort of like there wondering of like he's like, this is a bit weird. And whether it's like a video call conversation. And he sort of thinks to himself, that sounds delightful. But it's time for me to stick my head in the oven and see if I make it out the other side.
You actually say that out loud, do you?
He says that out loud.
It's not like a video call. There doesn't seem to be a space for you to reply as such. However, her face slowly dissipates. And what you do get as she fades is just a view of streets, a sort of a flash of a street, a hideaway, what looks to be more of like a farmlands type area, something out in the hills away from the city. You know where it is. She's given you the directions via your mind if you ever wish to go there. But that is the end of that premonition.
Yep. No worries. And continue on.
You're continuing on. And I might assume you're continuing to South Yarra?
Yes. I think you probably would try and take one of the cars that Jack's
right.
So,
he's got a choice.
Everyone looks less complicated.
Give us the library, Jack.
He's got a choice. There's several, and I mean several. There's a 69 Shelby GT Mustang, 2-door, the coupe. All of them are black. Like every car in this garage is black. Like there's not a single coloured car in this garage. There's an SUV similar to what he's been in before. There's the 69 Mustang Fastback, again 2-door. There is an odd, like you got the Mustangs, and there's a few vintage cars here. Like there's an old Shelby GT, not the Mustang, but the Shelby Cobra GT, soft top twin seat thing, Shelby Cobra. But then there's an old 1981 XD Falcon. But it's been well worked over. You can see it's got a large engine. There's a massive big blower sitting out the top of the engine. Again, in black. It's got the big fat mags on the back and the small ones on the front. It's angled down in the front. So it's definitely an old, like the old 80s style muscle cars that you definitely would have seen in and around New Zealand and Australia at the time. And then there's a couple of unassuming sort of standard like Fords and like a Ford Focus and things like that. So there's quite a few cars here.
So Pip would stand there, think about what he's going to do. He realizes exactly what he's going to do, and he will take one of the unassuming, boring cars, unfortunately, because of what he is about to do.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, Pip, we're going to stay with you because what we're going to do is we're going to stay with each one of you for the next X amount of time. I'm going to go from 1 to 1 to 1. So if there's something you would like to do to read out your angle right now, that is the best thing to do, I think. So you travel to South Yarra to the church, I believe is where you're going to go. Yeah. Tell us what you do. Actually, don't tell me. Roll the dice to see how well you drive. Are you going fast or slow or normal?
Pip's going to go fast.
All right, Pip. Let's see that dexterity drive. Now you've had a couple of practices, so throw yourself an extra dice in that pool.
And just for context, the The unassuming vehicles, like they're automatic, they're not manual. So
Okay.
if that makes a difference. The bigger vehicles will all be like high-speed manuals.
Gets an extra dice to his pool.
2.
2 is all you're going to need to get there in a little speed. Can you give us some description of how you're driving, what you're doing?
I just think he'd like sort of push himself into like the mind of someone else, where he's like some sort of Fast and the Furious character, and he's like his arms hanging out the car, and he's driving with one hand, like he's sort of like completely out of his own head about it, and just sort of like taking those sharp turns a little bit sharper than he should, and trying to get that end to come out a bit, and he's sort of given up on worrying about what the world might think of what he's about to do or how he's acting. So he's Vin Diesel without the family.
Right, man. So with that roll being what you needed, you get that swing on. You're hanging the back end out around corners. You get there within a good time. Pretty similar, not maybe quite as good as, but similar to Jax's driving of the night previous. And you pull up into, well, wherever you want to, outside this church area or near this church area.
So Pip doesn't pull up per se. There's a lot of trees in the area, aren't there?
Correct, yeah. Well, there was the night before.
Yeah. So whatever tree's left, Pip's going to plow that car into the tree.
Oh, while you're in it.
Yeah.
Holy moly. Okay.
It'll make sense eventually.
Alrighty. No, that's good. So you drive in and you can see the mess that Jax's car made through the fence, and it's got some yellow and black caution tape and some cones nearby. You can see the remains of the smouldering bush, but there's still quite a few trees and things that were unharmed. You can see the car that Jax flipped is gone now, but you're not really taking any of it in, even though the damage of the building has been barricaded as well. You careen straight up into one of the nearby trees, probably just through the fence, very similar to what Jax did, but you're going straight in. So you're going to give me a couple of rolls here. Because you're going to hit this tree's like front on, boom. It's going to be a solid stop. And you're probably doing what? What are you thinking, 70K, maybe more?
Yeah, at least 70K, yeah.
Okay, so are you going to try and get out of any damage way at all, or are you just happy to just plow straight in there?
He's looking to take a little bit of damage. He doesn't want to, like, this is not like Thelma and Louise shit, but
no,
he wants to take some damage. Okay,
so what's fitting for this? I think you need to give me you're going to need to hold your composure, because this is driving at a tree with you in it. And you're undead, yeah, for sure. So give me composure, and this is going to be different. Give me composure and give me that drive again, but I want you to add an extra dice to your... Actually, roll a willpower first.
Okay. Yep, success.
Success, sweet. So yeah, you can add an extra dice to your pool.
All right, so that's 3. 1 success.
1 success. Okay, so you're going to take a bit of damage here, maybe a little more than you wanted because you didn't get 2 successes out of it, but you straight into the front of a tree. The front of the car bends up a bit. It's a nondescript sedan, probably bend more than what any of those Falcons would have, or the
it's
the older model
cars. It'd have airbags and stuff.
The airbags go off with an extreme bang, like an explosion in your ears. You're going to take 1 aggravated damage, which could have been way more. So it puts you at 2 aggravated, 2 superficial. You are not so much your head doesn't hit anything because of the airbag, but you do feel that whiplash. Maybe your collarbone could be out of place, but otherwise you did what you wanted to do. You took a bit of damage. The car is, the horns aren't going off, but the smell of the gunpowder from the airbag is up, and you can hear the as water's spraying out the front of the motor against the tree. You can smell that old oil smell as something's dripping under the car. What is Pip doing next?
So Pip will make sure he's got the gun. And he will limp his way to the front of the church.
All right, no hassle. There was a commotion and there was a few people coming out of the church now. When I say people, I use the term loosely. Some of them could be humans. You can smell the blood of the human, but there are some ghouls and some kindred exiting the door as well. No one you recognise at this point, but you've got the gun out in the open?
Yeah, he's sort of like, I imagine one of his arms is probably hanging a bit limp. He's sort of like just dragging it along the ground.
And you didn't activate any abilities to go invisible or anything like that?
No.
Okay, so a few of them are like, excuse me, sir, stop.
Is it Sanctuary? Is that?
Are you here for Sanctuary?
Yeah.
You here to see Mr. Phillips?
Yeah, Mr. Phillips.
You can see a couple of them have their hands on their hips area and a couple of them have their arms out ready to attack. But they say, if you're here for Sanctuary, then be our guests. Come with us. And a couple of them sort of come near you and begin to bring you in. One of them will reach for the rifle. May I take that from you, sir?
Yeah, not very good with it anyway.
Excellent. Come on in. You are welcome. You answered the message that was sent today then.
Yeah. It was tough getting here.
Tough getting here. That's fair. Come on in. And they take you inside the church space, the actual church, not just the hall. You're going through. You can smell that clean, polished wood smell as you enter the church. You can smell candles and see the smoke trailing. There are quite a few numbers of people in here, just quietly, heads bowed, some of them praying, some of them at the front near the altar area, chatting, and dressed in what seems to be priest robes and drab brown suits. You see Jonathan Phillips talking with another man. He has his fedora in his hand, his hat in his hand, and he is wearing his long trench. And he sees you about 20 meters from him, and he says, pleased to make your acquaintance. How are you?
A little bit banged up, honestly.
Are you here to join us?
Yeah, I think so. I worked really hard to get here. The others aren't coming.
That is unfortunate for them. For I hear that there is bad times are coming and you will be much safer here with us.
Oh, bad times came to them already.
Really?
I don't think Jackson expected to meet final death at the hands of his own gun.
Oh, give me manipulation. And now, is this for your choice? Manipulation performance or something in that
Shady
social
motherfucker.
category? Something in that social category there, man.
Yeah.
You can use charisma or composure as well, or persuasion. Jonathan Phillips. I need to get his character sheet up.
Oh, it's going to be tough.
Extra black die from the chat.
There you go,
Yeah.
extra black die. Good timing.
Yeah.
Not one for the DM.
4, 5, 6, which is a miracle.
He looks at you, stares straight at you, his face unwavering, and he says, I thought he was stronger than that after last night's escapade, no? Who got him?
It's difficult when you don't see it coming.
That is true. Did the Cam get him, or the Anarch? Or was it the Thin Blood?
Had a little insight. You see, I do that from time to time. Nobody's ever really had my back, and it seems like Mr. Spencer and Mr. Riviera were no different.
You are telling me it was you, young Peregrine.
They had to go.
Well, he smiles quite broadly for probably the first time that you may have ever seen. He normally has a friendly, small smile, but this is a broad smile, and he says, well, welcome aboard. Come on in. I shall take you through where your friends are. And he leads you through a back room into like a tunnel space to an open underground area where Louisa and Echo and a few of the other people you've seen around Echo before are. Echo, her face is burned, her arms are burned. She's changed from the previous night's clothes, but she looks pretty scarred up for her. She moves over to you to give you a hug, as does Louisa.
And he'd accept it, but sort of like,
Now, Pip, is there anything else you wish to do here?
So Pip will eventually just sit down, and he'll sort of have that book out again, and the bookmarks splayed out, and he'll just sort of sit there and, you know, let whatever happen, whatever's going to happen next happen, as he sort of focuses and really tries to cement himself in his own thoughts, aware of the powers that they have, and trying to maintain a hold on his sense of self, and keep his thoughts to himself, so nobody's sort of trying to make sure nobody's sort of digging in to what he might know or what he might be thinking.
They are, everyone around you is what you would probably think is awkwardly friendly. They treat you as one of their own right off the bat. They don't seem to want to probe your mind. They aren't asking you many questions more than what you've got from Phillips already. For all intents and purposes, you feel about as safe as you ever felt. For the first time in probably a while, at this point, no one seems to be attacking you, trying to attack you. They're all making you feel welcome here. Echo is sat back down, and a few others that you don't recognize, male and female, come out, and she is just feeding from one, feeding from another, but they're all kindred, and she's feeding from their vitae. They do explain to you that as part of the Sabbat, you will be part of this ritual at some stage where everyone feeds from everyone, therefore everyone is bound to everyone, and no one can sort of be, if they do something outside of the group, everyone knows. It is a shared ritual that they explain to you. And if there's nothing more, we will fade from Pip, as he is amongst the Sabbat in the church. Zane, we'll come to you next. Obviously, it's going to be a bit of time to do what you need to do. Is there anything else Zane would like to do?
Yeah, with the first location, with the prep that he's doing, he's also calling in a contractor to set up a couple of piping throughout the room.
Copper piping.
Doesn't have to be copper, it could be plastic.
Yep.
Probably plastic, it's cheaper. And every meter or so along the pipe is going to have little spray nozzles directed into the room.
Okay, and what is the purpose of all this setup, Zane? Because we are moving towards an end game here tonight, so tell us what your plans are.
So with that, he'll be ordering some fuel, petrol, something that burns quick and hot.
All right.
So once the contractor's done with that, Zane will fix it all up and set a switch that gets triggered. And once set off, the whole thing will go woof.
You're setting up a scene, like a theatrical little setup. Probably plastic would be even better because it would melt away in this point, so that's agreeable. You're trying to make it look like Zane will be engulfed in flames within this building. Is that correct?
Yes.
That is awesome. Easy enough done. Contractors wouldn't take long to set something like that up. To be honest, setting it up yourself would be fairly simple. You know the right people within the Kindred Society who can set some stuff up like that for you.
All right, we'll do that then.
The main thing is, I guess, is knowing who to trust and who not to trust. So would you set this up yourself, or would you entrust other people to do it?
Actually, given that he doesn't trust anybody, he'll probably do it himself.
Yeah. So give me an intelligence science. We haven't done this one before. And you are planning, you have access to the internet, so chuck an extra dice in there.
Oh, that's good then.
Well, I mean, you can find out anything on the internet these days.
3
successes. Takes a little longer than you'd hoped, but it's easy enough to set up what's currently or commonly referred to as a sprinkler bomb, which sprays fuel and ignites, almost similar to the little grenades from episode 1 of the season 1 campaign that spray out a clouded mist that ignites. It is no issue to put it under pump. You have electrical experience with your technology, and you have made the perfect self-death trap.
So basically, once I get that set up, I'll move to the second location, watch the video feed, and once I hear that they're coming for me, I'll share that link to the Justicar, my Justicar.
Yes. The link is sent, and even I guess prior to anything being set up, you could get over to the other haven and sort of aid with the setup yourself, so that is not a hassle. The Justicar, after receiving, is it an email style message so he can open it and it just opens to the camera feed?
It's any type of link.
So it's just a general link. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Does he have access to being able to reply to you by either email or text or something like that? No. Okay, sweet. Just checking. So as far as you're aware, you know he's got the message, the link, and your plans are in action.
So I'll just be monitoring the cameras for when people show up.
Which doesn't take long. We will skip days, but we'll come back. When we come back to you, Jax, we will back in this day. But I will say that after a day and a half of setting up in the New Haven, or an evening and a half in your case, it is only by the third evening. So what we are now, Wednesday, so Thursday, Friday, it would be like the Saturday evening where, and I wouldn't even say it's evening when they attack. Whoever they are, you see on camera, they don't look like men in suits or men in black or anything like that, just some average Joe looking people. A couple of them pull up, some of them runners heading by the road, some people just walk in general, and then suddenly they enter the building. Small charges are placed, nondescript, and they enter the building, they head in, pulling weapons out. These average Joe looking people.
As soon as I see them get to the door, I'll flick the switch.
No worries. And give me a dice pool. I'm not telling you what you're rolling. Give me a dice pool of 6 dice, including your hunger dice, please.
So 6 including?
Yes.
1.
1 success. Okay. You just watch on the cameras as these people, one kicks in the door, you hit the button to go, nothing happens. They move around the room, 4 of them, 6 of them, 8 of them now in the space, holding their weapons up, aiming, looking for something. They see computer screens. You hit the button again, nothing's happening. You see on the cameras that you're watching some small fuel is leaking, and then it goes off. It takes about 20 seconds, but it looks like most of them are in the room. I didn't roll that great either. One of the people, as the camera feeds are still up, one of the people rolls out of the room on fire, and you can see he's sort of running down the hallway on fire. He runs, but as the explosion's gone off, the gas system that kills the fire, which takes all oxygen out of the space, goes. Can't remember what it's called. Halon
Halon system.
and it just douses the place completely. So not is he only on fire, but now he's struggling to breathe as the other ones are writhing around on the floor. Your camera's cut from that space. What the Justicar sees is you sitting in a space, and then the camera's cut. The Justicar sees nothing more than that, but the news pretty much tells the story of a building gone up in smoke. With you safely in your alternate haven, unfortunately, with the cameras cut, you don't know the exact sustained injuries of these people, but it seems like it did the job for now.
So with that, I'll be keeping an eye out on the entrance, as I dare say I have other cameras. There'll be other cameras
outside
around.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So no one leaves the space that day or that evening. It's only when the ERTs and that come finally over the next half an hour. They're there pretty quick, but over the next half an hour they arrive, multiple units putting out the fire. By the time they put out the fire, the bodies they drag out are all completely burned to just about a crisp. Most of them missing limbs in places, very hard to tell. And it's even on the news, they couldn't, they were unable to tell which each figure or what each figure was. They had to go by dental records, which were even hard to tell at this point. You are assumed dead, which is what you were after.
Cool.
And that we will move to Jax. Jax, your plans.
Well, so as Jackson left the haven, got into a taxi and gave him an address to start traveling to, which was again just a random building that no one really sort of knows about, that he was going to lay low with for a while.
No problem.
Probably, I would say about 2/3 the way there, Jackson leans forward and taps the driver on the shoulder and says, can we go to a different address instead, and gives him the address of Elysium.
Okay. The Manhattan, you're saying?
Yeah.
You pull up at the Manhattan, the old Gangster's Paradise bar. The usual crowd isn't there. The usual guards not in place. There are people around. As you pull up, you can see the space is reasonably busy with people drinking, but not the usual kindred guards on door.
I'd go around to the rear.
Moving around to the rear, no problem. A valet leans over to the Uber driver and offers to take the vehicle from here. The driver, or taxi, Uber, whichever you took, looks at you and says,
I'd say to him, hey, look, that's fine. I'd get out at that point.
Okay. You head into the building.
I'd walk around to the rear of the building first.
Walk around to the rear, no worries.
Just trying to get a feel for what's going on.
Give me a wits awareness, please.
That is not great, but we'll do. And an extra die on from the chat. Thank you, Mina.
Yes, wits awareness for you.
Oh, that's actually a really good roll. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
5. There is not a kindred nor a ghoul smell in sight. These are all humans looking through the open doors, which are, it's a warmer night than the previous night that rained. The doors are open. There is 2 security guards on the door. They are not yours. They are not what you've seen here before. And no one behind the counter that you recognize. These are all human.
Okay, with that, Jackson would probably start heading into the city to the original Elysium. Or the
Good
actually
call.
probably the alternative Elysium, because the original was attacked. It'd be looking at one of those two buildings. Probably the alternative Elysium that they went to after the original was attacked.
Yeah, the art
Yeah.
place. Yep.
Failing that, he'll then go to the other Elysium. Basically, he's looking for the council at this point.
Yep, understood. So you're going to give me 2 rolls. The first was going to be intelligence awareness.
Three.
3. The next one's going to be intelligence investigation, but you get to add an extra die to your pool because you know what you're looking for.
Doesn't really matter anyway, because it's still fucking shit. 1.
1. So you move past the art studio. That was the secondary Elysium. You get the same feel. No one around here seems to be kindred. You move to the original Elysium, and what you see here is the building is under repair. And those 2 guards at the door, though they are not anyone you know, they are kindred for sure.
Okay. So Jackson would approach before even, like, when he gets within sort of maybe 5 meters, he'll put both his hands out away from his sides and away from his jacket, just start approaching.
The 2 guards look at you and they say, excuse me, what's your business here?
I'm here to see the council.
And you are?
Jackson Spencer. I'm sure they're either expecting me or wanting to see me. Either way.
Well, we've heard your name, yes.
And with that, he'll literally say, keep calm, boys. Just going to save you the trouble. And he reaches in, like, opposite hand on each weapon, not crossing over, pulls them out, index finger and thumb, and then hands his weapons over.
Okay. As you hand the weapons over, they take them. They say, well, Mr. Spencer, you've been here before, or to many Elysiums at this point. We will have to pat you down.
And just holds his arms up.
And they pat you down. Are you holding anything else?
Just the probably the blade in his boot, his right boot. But that's about it.
Okay, only one of them pats you down. I'm going to roll a dice pool for this one, whether he finds the blade in your boot or not. If you are trying to conceal it,
it would be concealed anyway. It'd be inside. It'd be inside a purpose-built sort of sheath. It's like the top of it would be above the boot, so it wouldn't be that hard to find if they were patting him down right down to the ankle.
Okay, so you don't want to roll against. You're happy for them to find it.
If they find it, they find it.
He had 5 successes, so he scrolls through, just taps on it, and goes, "Might I take this?"
You're my guest.
Pulls that out as well, pockets it, and says, "If it is decided you are to have them back, you shall get them back, sir. Until then, you are welcome here. This is a safe haven, as you know. If there's any untoward speech to anyone of the Justicars, the council, if you are disrespectful or if you attack anyone in any way, you will be put to trial, if not to death."
I know how it works.
Yeah, as you do. Understand, we are obliged to say, as you know.
And Jackson, with that, will enter Elysium with the intention of either finding Justicar Wade or his own Primogen.
They let you pretty much go about on your own. I'm just shutting a couple of pages here because my computer's running a bit slow. You head through and you do find your Justicar, George Barrington, whom you gave the information to. He is currently talking to a couple of people that you don't recognize. He looks like he's setting up for something. He says, Jackson, I did not expect to see you.
I would imagine not. But here I am nonetheless.
I'll have you know I'm vouching for you.
I appreciate that.
You've done nothing wrong by my books. If anything, you have been led astray to your unknowing, and you have given us all the information we needed in behind, so I feel the argument is strong in your favor.
That is why I'm here. I did initially think to run, but on second thought, probably not the brightest idea I would have.
No, I have a feeling Mary is going to... She's pretty hot-headed, let's say that. She is pretty upset about the state of things in the camera at the moment, and because she is the oldest of us, she has... Well, you're going to see. Come through.
And Jackson doesn't say anything. He's essentially keeping his mouth shut when it's necessary at this point.
He leads you to the original area where Prince Taylor gave the speech. You go up the carpeted golden blue, dark navy blue carpeted gold banistered stairs into the dual room. You can see the area has been repaired. You guys actually enacted some of the repairs yourself, some of the extra cameras and things. You know that it's the downstairs where the SI attacked mostly, and much of this upstairs area is still all right. You can see there's a lot of scaffold, a lot of work has been done during the day, but there are no workers here now. This room looks pretty pristine with its bars on either side, and there seems to be not a lot of people like the initial, excuse me, not a lot of people or kindred here as the initial meeting would have had. It seems to be just the council and that is the Justicars and the Primogen, the Archons. No sign of the Keepers, no Nathan or no Chopin, and that is all. But they are gathered awaiting the front stage where Leslie gave his initial speech. You can hear the chatter amongst them, and George says to you, please wait at the back here. Don't make any moves or anything. I need to go and see Mary before she starts. And he pops out of the way.
Jax will do what he's told.
Cool. A couple of the others nearby come over to you. One of the Justicars, it is the Toreador Justicar, Ronald, he comes over and says, so, it's good to see you here. You made the right move.
We're all here for the Ivory Tower, I would assume.
Yes, I wish I could say the same for Nathan. They took him yesterday, but he's pretty wily. He managed to get free. Mary was spitting tax, of course, because he's working for Marco.
Yes, Marco has a few people on his side.
Look, they went for his sob story, and I understand that. Yes, his parentage was destroyed by Leslie. I can see revenge. That's not a problem, but it is this deceit of the council, mostly, that they're unhappy about. I don't think if he'd just done a one-on-one in front of everyone, I feel like it would have gone better. But those were the old days, and these are the the times now.
Deception seems to be the currency of the kindred in these times.
Well, it is a long way to the top if you want to rock and roll, my friend.
Yes, well, I'm here to take whatever punishment is due for my transgressions. I'm responsible for breaching the masquerade.
Hey, that's fine. You don't have to preach it to me. Mary is about to come out. But it goes within, well, your favor to be submissive to her like that for sure. She is like TNT.
Indeed.
I wish you luck.
I'm definitely going to need it.
And Jackson, you see the crowd. They come over a hush. They move. It's not like the big crowd of the first night. Like I said, no one's drinking. They're not got glasses. No one has an earpiece, a phone, anything electronic in their hands. The first night they were trying to squeeze them through, get them past. There is nothing. The guards are in their height of their. Every guard in this place is at full alert, and you can tell it. And they're not brandishing fancy weapons. You can tell by looking at most of them that they are of the kindred power type that are pretty brutal with their open bare hands. The hush is apparent as 2 guards wheel forth something, and behind a vivid red curtain, a silk curtain. And as they wheel it forth, Mary steps forth. She's up at the podium that Leslie spoke at, and she is old. Not what probably most of you would expect at all. You've heard of her before, but she's 80-ish if you were to take a stab. Longish, sort of my hair length, just beyond the shoulder, grey, silver hair, a few black streaks. Her face is calm and kind looking, and she sort of passes her hands out with she has like a nana grandma type shawl on with a long dark grey, very old looking dress, and she says, "My children, I address you this night with grave information." She clasps her hands on the side of the lectern type thing. She doesn't need a microphone, for there is none, but her voice echoes through this place. The SI, while torturing me, while taking my vitae, while sectionally burning me in the sun, and practicing on me with many grievous instruments to see which effects were the best, well, they also showed footage of kindred to me, footage from all over this grand land we call Australia. They wanted me to hate our own, to act as a traitor to our kind, and because they thought I could see how monstrous we were by watching this evidence, which it was monstrous, but it had no effect on me. And one of the kindred in the audience, one of the Justicars, makes a noise, "Hear, hear," and she says, "Silence! My child, if I hear you interrupt again, you shall be executed." And she looks back to the audience. During these last few weeks of agony, as much as I would rather not admit it, I came to realize the SI were actually doing me a favor. Never before in the Tremere house have I seen this, my children. For many years, my children, I've stayed in the council, not wanting to be in charge, not feeling the need to take control, but to advise from the dark corners. And yes, my children, my advice and the advice of the council was not always followed by the princes of the past. Every time to Camarilla detriment. So now that young Taylor, it seems, is no more, and it has now come to pass that this Echo everyone adored, she was no more than a Sabbat puppet fraud. It is with a heavy, heavy heart, so to speak, that I accept the role of prince in order to fix this mess we find ourselves in. She looks across the crowd of people, the audience, the nodding council, as they agree with her. Whether they agree or not mentally, they seem to agree physically. No one dares interrupt again. No, my children, I shall not be like Leslie Taylor, barking from the chain and biting the odd passer-by. No, not like Taylor, who had his enemy right under his nose for years. Yes, I found out about Marco, another victim of Squizzy, from the time he had warm blood. How do you think I ended up with the Inquisition? The damned leech Marco. Soon as he knew I found out. He had his ways. I was onto him, and now I owe him. And her face sort of goes back to the nice old lady again, and she says, no, I shall not be like Taylor. This evidence of the Inquisition shows me that the masquerade is being treated as a farce here in Melbourne, and probably in the rest of Australia too. Therefore, I can see no other path. We shall get message to all other Camarilla here in Australia. We are now at war. A war against any who oppose us, the Camarilla, yes. A war against the SI, a war against the Anarch, the Sabbat, and the Thinbloods. But most of all, I declare a war against the greatest crime. On those who continuously breach our masquerade. Yes, my children, the very same who aid Marco in his deceptions against Prince Taylor, and those who still aid him now. Taylor allowed them their sins, but I shall not. She looks directly at you, Jackson. A blood hunt I have declared among this war. A blood hunt on the leech Marco Kane, aka Warren Haynes, for those of you who need to know, and his trusted conspirators, the Old Keeper, William Chopin, and Nathaniel Lucas, one of the leaders of the Toreador. Puh, I spit on them. And finally, a blood hunt on the ones Marco labelled his hounds. Sans this one, she points at Jackson. He has come, so I am told, to be at the mercy of the council. Well, I don't have mercy like Taylor. We shall see where this leads and what information you can give, but I guarantee you, you will be punished. A blood hunt will be had on these traitors. Echo, Munro, the worst traitor. A traitor to the Toreador, a traitor to the Camarilla, and a fraudulent prince. Zane Riviera works on computers and technology with disregard for the old ways and disregard for leadership. Peregrine Elliot, sired without permission by one Louisa Ashton, and now known Sabbat. Hunt them both. Aaron Tomic, their guard dog, who works on, well, he works for whichever faction pays the most money, and she spits again, biting her lip and spitting blood onto the carpet, which works like acid. Hunt them all with extreme prejudice, for they wield weapons against their own, and they breach the masquerade in full. And she stares at you again, Jackson. Yes, hunt them with extreme prejudice. That is my law. Now I must not forget Isaac Graves, Sarah Barnett, and Van Diemen. I thank them for all they have done to aid in my release. Send them message that they are to be within my circle, a part of my coterie as the new prince, and I have done my background work in the last 12 hours I have been awake. Now, my children, go, hunt, destroy these enemies. But remember, stay in the darkness, stay out of sight, and obey the masquerade or fear my wrath. And lastly, as you're all there watching, except for Zane and Pip who can't see this, lastly she pulls at the curtain, the red curtain, and a chain pulls tight against it, and the curtain drops away. The chain holds a tight clasp around Xander, the scourge, foaming at the mouth, and she, for what seems like an 80-year-old woman, has extreme strength, and she yanks at the chain really hard, and Xander whelps like a dog. Ugh! And she walks him like a dog on his all fours from the podium as she steps away. Through the curtains, the council and the Justicars slowly begin to clap, as not a word is said. As we now dim the lights on Melbourne, blood and belief. Vampires of Melbourne, this chapter of the Chronicle is over. Well done.
Well done indeed. Well, interesting. So, chat, that is it. That is it for this chapter of this Chronicle. As Storyteller has said, season 3 of Vampires of Melbourne has come to a close. Thank you everyone who is involved in our story, including those players that are no longer with us that have had to bow out early. We had a few extra people involved in season 1 and 2 that aren't with us anymore. Mina in the chat, Sarah Barnett, just so everyone knows, she was part of our story also. Magic the Gamer, Yanti1, and Sadiq, or aka Mr. Stibbs, we all know who they are. They were part of the story as well, and we'd like to thank them for their participation also. So, as per usual, we're going to get some moments from tonight's session, but we will be back next week, not for another Vampire the Masquerade, but we'll be here talking about our story. Things we may have missed, things you guys want to know about our characters, things you might want to ask the storyteller, vice versa. The storyteller might want to ask us some things about decisions we made and why we made them, all that sort of guff, which we normally do. So we're doing that next Sunday. The following Sunday, we'll be back into Paradigm 2 Shadow's Embrace, where I will be DMing these 3 individuals, plus a couple of extras, Mina and Drax in the chat, where we re-explore the realm of Paradigm, the 5-year adventure that is the world that I created. So hopefully we'll see many of you back here for that. So I'll turn it back over to the storyteller and we'll get some moments from tonight's session.
Yeah. Once again, sorry about that sort of full story at the end. I know there wasn't too much character involvement, but it gave you guys a reasoning out. So, round the tables, we'll start with Eeny, Meeny, Miny, Mo, Zane.
That's awesome. Storyteller, excellent ending.
Thank you.
Interesting how you did that, Pip, throwing Jax under the bus to the Sabbat.
I wasn't really throwing him under the bus. Kind of saved them looking for him, really.
Yeah, true.
I think he's dead, so...
And Jax, caramel, that word, all the way, huh?
Camera all the way, man, from day one.
As for me, Zane is, I suppose you could say, a loner.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, nice work too, Zane. Good ideas, good sort of back and forth thing, keeping yourself in there and that little haven of yours, tightly snipped away from everyone else. One-on-one sessions. Pip will go to you. Jax will end with you. Pip?
Just an excellent sort of end to everything. I sort of like the way it all come together, and Zane's way out. And it sort of led to what I was thinking too. And I'm like, well, that's good because it looks like I blew the shit out of Zane. I'm like, well, I killed Zane, and Jax, they were a liability. And I'm like, oh, cool. That's cool. That works. And Jax sort of like, I didn't know what he was going to do. And it almost felt like Jax didn't know what he was going to do until he did it.
Nope. Evil had no idea what he was going to do until he did it.
So, just, amazing end to a very epic chronicle. So it was a good one.
Indeed.
Jax, give us your all, mate.
Yeah, so same thing. Pip's decision, the letter from Pip was great. I love that. That was very well written, Grim. But yeah, Pip's decision to literally walk into the enemy territory and say that he had himself removed people from, again, basically saving Jax from being hunted by both sides in all in all purposes at that point, putting himself at risk for someone he really doesn't know that well. I don't know how Pip's going to fare with that. I mean, he's kind of put himself on the opposition, although with what Mary Wade has just said, I don't think it really would have mattered what he did. I think even if he'd come to Elysium with Jax, that may have been the end of Pip because of the breach in the Masquerade, which is not entirely Pip's fault, but that's kind of how it works. And yeah, storyteller, amazing story. I've thoroughly enjoyed this. I mean, for a lot of us, this is our first time playing Vampire the Masquerade. We made lots of mistakes along the way with the way things worked and things like that, but we had a fantastic time bringing the story together. So I highly big ups to the storyteller for the story as a whole.
Thank you.
Great story arc. And just quickly, Drax, Pip saying he was a bad Baptist or something. I laughed hard at that from Drax. And then, Pip's plan, Jack's Camarilla obedience, Zane's death trap, and the storyteller keeping Sarah from her escape. I was surprised at that.
Yep. Mina picked up on that. Good. So, and I had a bit for everyone too. So Pip, and it was similar to what Drax had there. When Pip says, "I wonder if the church knows I'm a lapsed Catholic."
That's
I thought that was
Catholic.
amusing as Zane, you're set up to make yourself look dead. Just the idea of, making sure people could see you on the camera, the loop, having the fuel, expel into that space. And even though it didn't quite go off quite as planned, it was enough to have it, work. Was a wonderful idea. And then Jax, and I know at break you sort of said, "Geez, I don't really know what Jax is going to do. Is he going to run? Is he going to turn himself in?" And then the actual final idea to sort of send yourself to there and take, you didn't know if you were going to be executed on site or anything. So that, I thought that was a really wild play right at the end there. Rolled dice to see, and you came out on top for this time. Thankfully, with the Bruja, Primogen and Justicar probably in your court and the evidence, so that worked out good. But turning yourself in was such a good. It actually worked in my favor because I thought when I give her speech, I was going to be doing it as a no one sees it type scenario.
Okay, yeah.
So that's what I thought initially when I wrote that little speech of hers. I thought, oh, no one's going to see it, but I really want the viewers to get the idea of what's happening, so I'll do it. And then you were like, "No, I'm going there." I'm like, yes, someone actually gets to see it.
Like I said, that was, we'll probably discuss further in what decisions were made next week in the Just Chatting session. But it was in the moment. I just had these. I had two ways out, but I really didn't know that leaving the country was going to work. I mean, he possibly could have got out of the country with a bit of help, but it just, he would have put himself on that list with everybody else. And he would, Jackson was Camarilla 100% all the way. Like, he never really wavered in his loyalties to the Ivory Tower.
No, he did not. And we get to find out with the Q&As next week, I suppose, exactly what was going on in some of those spaces.
Yes, definitely. There will be obviously some missing faces from that Q&A. We won't get some insights into other characters that we would have liked to.
I will be able to give insights to some of those because there was a lot of back and forth behind the scenes that I got from those characters too.
But in saying that, I will extend that invitation to those people if they wish to join us for that. If they decline, that's up to them. But the invitation will be extended if they wish to join us. They are more than welcome, because it would be kind of cool to get their insights from their own perspective as a character. That extension also extends to you, Mina. If you wish to join us next week on camera, up to you. Let us know. Otherwise, you're more than welcome just to stay and chat. But if you're willing to come and join us next week, as you have been a part of this chronicle as well, we're more than happy to get you on camera and hang out with us and just have a shoot the shit about our story at the very least. Yes, Jax, next week I want to know how many phones were smashed throughout all 3 seasons. I have no idea. There was a lot.
Tell you what, Drax, you watch all the VODs,
you watch all the VODs and tell us. Yeah, so Mina, you just let me know during the week whether you're keen to come and hang out with us. Like I said, even if it's just via chat, just let me know either way. But yeah, so that is our chronicle, ladies and gentlemen. That is the sun rises on Melbourne for the last time. Well, not so much the last time, but last time in this story, where our kindred seem to have chosen their paths, and we'll see where that goes. The next Chronicle will probably not be until at the very least the completion of Paradigm 2, so it'll be quite some time away. There may or may not be at some point, we may take a small break from P2 and we may see an Alien one-shot mini campaign in the Alien RPG system, which Baz has graciously agreed to storytell for us, as he's done that once already at our home game, which was a lot of fun. So again, when the time comes, we will probably call for some players. I'm not sure how many. We'll sort of Baz and I will sit down and discuss the details on that, sort of how many players would be suited for that. It will be like I say, a one shot or a mini adventure, so probably 1 or 2 sessions, maybe 3. Yeah. It won't be huge, but it'd be like just a bit of take a bit of a break from P2 and sort of jump into something different and come back to that. Complete P2, however long that takes, because it'll be level 1 to 20 or until the party dies, either whatever comes first. Once that is completed, then we may consider another VTM. But next time around, we won't be doing it in seasons. We'll be running from start to finish. Just to let everyone know on that one. So that will be us for the evening, ladies and gentlemen. So we're going to see if we can palm you off to somebody else. Thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight. I do appreciate it very, very much. We might raid Zeit Poltergeist again. They're doing VTM as well. They're doing a V5 Chronicle, La Terreur et la Vertu, which is the set. I think it's set in France, somewhere in Europe. But a great bunch of role players, these guys, and the storyteller is really cool too. So we're going to go send you guys over there in just a moment, and we will see you guys tomorrow night. In fact, tomorrow, no map making tomorrow. We're going to do, Mr. Grimm's going to come and join me tomorrow night, and we're going to do a read through and a chat on the 1D&D playtest PDF that's just been released from D&D Beyond. I've had a read through it already. There's some things I like about it, some things I don't like, some things I've heard in the YouTube videos. So if you are keen on coming hanging out with us and doing a bit of a Q&A on that, come and see us tomorrow night. Open invitation to DMs and players alike. Come and hang out with us. I say Mr. Grimm's going to join me in the video chat. Baz, if you're available, if you want to come in and join for that, you're more than welcome.
Probably not on a Monday night, my friend, but hey, thanks for the offer.
But yeah, so we'll definitely be doing that tomorrow night, and that should be a bit of fun because there's some really cool stuff. So without any further ado, I will hit the raid command, and we will say good evening, and we will see you tomorrow night, guys. Bye-bye.